Now, a new wetlands law in Louisiana could completely change which areas get protected. I'm Joshua Moten, your St. Martin Parish reporter, here at the Atchafalaya Basin. It's a place that could see some real impacts. So what exactly is considered a wetland? What's changing? Why does it matter for flooding and wildlife and overall the future of this landscape? Let's break it all down.
One of the most controversial changes is how the law expands the term Fastlands. These are wet areas that would usually be regulated, but are now exempt if they're surrounded by levees, berms, or other structures that would normally block water from flowing out.
My issue there initially is they put the word would normally, and here any levee would normally work to block water from traveling. But if we're allowing people to not have regulation when it would normally not impact, but it actually in reality does impact, like if their levee is not that good and water actually does get out, then we're allowing people to not be regulated for activity that could impact other water.
The change follows a 2023 U.S. Supreme Court decision, Sackett versus the EPA, which limited federal wetland protections to areas with a clear surface connection to navigable waters. But Louisiana's new law goes further, applying that definition to its own state clean water rules, even though the federal test wasn't meant for this part of the law.
They are point blank excluding groundwaters from this whole system. So not only are wetlands that would normally be isolated, are they eliminated? For the purpose of their discharge elimination system program, it only includes surface waters.
The risk, Brennan says, is that without oversight, more development could happen in fragile landscapes that absorb flood water and support wildlife. Mark Davis, Tulane Environmental Law Center director, argues the impacts might be more limited.
Louisiana never really had a law or a program to protect wetlands other than in the coastal zone, and it already had a Fastlands exception.
But even Davis says the new language could create confusion, not clarity, about where federal and state rules begin and end.
I don't think it's going to make it easier to build anything. I don't think it's going to make any easier for the state to, define its own program.
Without putting clear timelines of when things are determined, whether they're wetlands or fastlands, without putting a clear definition of a continuous surface connection, they're trying to create clarity, but actually just creating more confusion.
With the bill now officially signed into law, both Brennan and Mark tell me that they'll be watching closely to see how it plays out on the ground and what it means for wetlands moving forward. Reporting in St. Martin Parish, I'm Joshua Moten, your St. Martin Parish reporter with KATC TV3.